Bienvenue dans le semestre 2001 en ligne. Je vais vous faire une petite présentation pour vous montrer un peu comment D2L fonctionne. I'm going to now use English since it would be a little easier for all of us to understand as we're getting started for this 1001 class. So here we have the announcements on your D2L, which is showing you what you need to look for when you start this class. You should really scroll down and look at all the information and read it in details. These are the very important things you need to do when you start. First of all, you should always check D2L and your calendar, which is located right here, to see what is due in the immediate weeks to come. Second of all, this little place is where all your course content is located. Course content is, right there, and when you click on it you will find that you have all the documents related to all the chapters organized by chapters. If you go on chapter 1, you have an overview. It's always some kind of informative picture about your chapter that you're about to study, as it is here for chapter 1. And if you go to the rest of chapter 1, then you will find the most important place, which is typically textbook and devoir practice. You go there and then you will see step by step what you need to do. Each chapter is divided in 5 steps. Step 1, étape 1. Step 2, étape 2, step 3, 4, and 5. Each step has a detailed description of what needs to be done with pictures if needed. For each step, you will have some textbook activities and you will also have some devoir, which is homework in French. You will also have PowerPoints with each chapter where you can look at the picture and use it like a flashcard type thing. So when you go on your Top Hat website, which is what you're going to be using instead of a textbook this semester, you will find something that will look maybe not like this because all of it isn't assigned, but whatever is assigned will show on your window. And then you will have textbook, devoir for each step. Step 1, textbook, devoir. Step 2, textbook, devoir, etc. For each chapter, 5 steps. This is chapter 1. You will also have some questions. When you open textbook, for instance, you will have questions that can show discussion like this where you're only graded on participation. You will also have other type of questions where you're graded with also being accurate, spelling, and so on. Let's go back to the home on D2L where you can see the organization. So when you read this, you will find out that first of all, we're watching this video. And then each weekly work is detailed, as I just said, on D2L in content right there. Because this is an online course, I really would like you to be flexible, but I also want you to be on time. This calendar that you can look at, and you should print it, is really what you need to check for this class. So, for instance, once you're done joining your class, you followed all the instruction and you're in Top Hat, you may wonder, when do I need to do what? Well, this outline will detail everything that needs to be done and the date that it needs to be done by. So right here, on the first day of class, we have to do the introduction of the course, which we're doing right now. We're watching all the video, we are going into Top Hat, and we're trying to do first step, étape 1. When we're done with that, on that day, we will go to the devoir, this column on this table, and we will do step 1 of the devoir. It also informs you here that this devoir will close on 8/22, which means by that date, you will no longer be able to go in Top Hat to finish it, and that means you will receive a 0 for that specific exercise. This whole outline is very detailed, day by day. Also the days where we don't have any class. If you look at 8/22, for instance, then we move on. This is Collaborate Classroom. You may wonder what is this. It is explained in your syllabus, but I can explain to you right now what it means. It means that on that day, we will try to connect together on the Collaborate Classroom tool, which is available on D2L. Through UNG, we can connect and we can look at each other. We can be live and we can ask each other questions. I can explain things to you if you didn't understand. You see, each Collaborate Classroom is offered on these dates, and for each step, except here there's no Collaborate on that day, it will be mentioned if there is none. I am asking you in the syllabus to try to connect 2 times per chapter as a minimum. So for instance, if you want to connect on 822 and 824, but you cannot on 827 or 829, then these are your choices. You've done the minimum participation to be able to fulfill this grade on your syllabus. And those are the dates when you may require explanations or the days that you're only available. It doesn't matter. What really matters is that you connect at least twice per chapter to get some live explanation. So this is the outline. You can look at it. You will also have test dates in there. And you will also have at the end of the semester the explanation for the review, how we're going to organize. We won't have any Collaborate class, but you can always connect with me through Skype, FaceTime, or even Collaborate Classroom if you need help. We have 6 tests, as you can see. Let's go back now to D2L. When you will be done with this course, you will finish here, which means that you have to not only fulfill these activities, but also take a proctored test, which means you will be looked at, or there will be somebody in the room with you as you're taking your final. You also should fulfill this survey. When you fill this survey, you will be asked a few questions, and that will help us improve some things that we may not have thought about. When you start the semester, you should also click on Start Here, which is here. And there you will see the repetition of the things that I'm saying in this video, but it's never too much, I guess, when you start and get used to these new things. You have an introduction to your textbook here, how to work with your course material online, your syllabus, and then you also have some mandatory attendance activity that you have to do, and those are not by me, but by DEDI. So it's a UNG policy that we have to follow when we offer a course online. So TopHat.com is your go-to online textbook. When you go to Top Hat, and I will show you my Top Hat, yours will look slightly different because you're a student. You need obviously to buy a Top Hat subscription. It could be a semester. If you only plan on taking 1001, it could be a year. Beware that when you buy your subscription, you only have to buy it once. If you have biology on Top Hat, you don't have to buy 2 subscriptions, only 1 subscription, and then you join each class. So if you have math, French, biology on Top Hat, then just buy 1 subscription and you can use this for all your classes. Just don't want you to buy it more than 1 time. Your join code for this class is this code. If you join this code, then you will be in my Top Hat. You will appear in my Top Hat. And then you'll be able to see the work that you have to do, which will appear here on the side. This is my teacher page, so yours will only show what is assigned, what's in red right now, because these are assigned. Those are your first activity. So when you go on Top Hat, you will see Chapter 1, textbook. For instance, you want to do your textbook activity. Then you go there, and you can open it in full screen. Maybe it's a little bit easier for you to see. At the beginning of the chapter, then you have the title, the goals, and then a conversation. So we start with questions to start the conversation. The questions are always in French. As I say here, read the French question, but answer it in English, obviously, because this is 1001. You will then scroll down to the course itself. This is your textbook. You have videos, maps, pictures, listening activities, vocabulary, which is always in yellow, and then grammar, which is always in green. Here there is no grammar, we start with vocab. Some questions will appear sometimes, and then you have to answer those. They could be multiple choice, they could be a word answer, they could be click on answer, so you have to click on the word you hear, for instance. More videos. This is a click on answer, so your little cursor here, mouse, or however we call it, will show that it's live and you just click on what you hear in the video, for instance. You have more vocab here, more listening activities, and that is the end of your step 1 for chapter 1. When you're done, you save your work, and then you will appear in my grade book here when you're done. This doesn't have an end date yet, but it will have an end date eventually. And when I set it up, you won't be able to go back in your Top Hat homework if you are past the due date, which is in your outline. So beware of that. Be careful. At 11:30 on the 22nd, for instance, those activities will be shut down. Then once the others are assigned, then you will see them appear on Top Hat. For instance, here I can assign the vocabulary as a review or as homework. I'm going to assign it as a review so you can just see it, practice with it. Each word has its own audio, so you can look at the image and then you can repeat after the image. So this is assigned as review for you to get ready or to practice your listening and speaking skills. Let's go back to the home page. So this is what I detail here in this first announcement. The organization of the semester, Top Hat, our join code, our calendar with our daily work, our Collaborate classroom, how to use Collaborate, how to connect to Collaborate. This is how it is set up on my computer. When I see Blackboard Collaborate on my calendar, it means that at this time we will be finishing our Collaborate classroom. So by 2:50 it will also close. So if I want to go in Blackboard Collaborate, then I should be going into this classroom between 2 and 2:50. If I show up, then I will see you. You will have to participate. Tell me that you're there. Ask the questions you need to ask. And then for that day, you will be present. And if you connect twice within one chapter, then you have fulfilled your syllabus assignment. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, I am always available with an email. I am not very far away. I can answer within the next 24 hours at the worst. You can also ask me to connect with you if you need some live explanation. Again, I have a Skype account. I can connect through Collaborate, also make a special session, a review session, or whatever else you may need. Don't hesitate to ask. Okay, au revoir.